Lesson number 4, the slope of a line segment. So a trucker that has to drive up a hill with a heavy load can be concerned with the steepness of the hill. Or even when he's going down the hill, wants to know the steepness, the pitch of the grade. When building a roof, a builder is concerned with the steepness or the pitch of the roof. A skier going down the hill might actually be concerned with the steepness of the ski hill. Slope is used to describe the steepness of a line segment. So from physics class, what is slope?
Rise over run.
Rise over run. Rise, vertical. I have to, like when I rise in the morning, I get up out of bed. Run is a horizontal, so if I run, I'm running horizontally. So rise is the change in the vertical, run is the change in the horizontal. If the rise is positive, we go up. If the rise is negative, we are going down. When the run is positive, we are going to the right. When it is negative, we are going to the left. So, if we look at class example number 1. What is the rise for line segment AB? So what's the vertical change? 2. And what's the run? 7. So then the slope would be 2 over 7. So if I look at line segment C to D, what is the rise?
5.
And what is the run?
4.
So the slope would be?
5 over 4.
Okay. And then if I look at line segment EF, what is the rise?
5.
And what is the run?
3.
Okay, but this time it would have to be a negative 3 because I had to move to the left. So then the slope would be a negative 5/3. We bring the negative right to the front. So we wouldn't write it as 5 over negative 3. We would write it as negative 5/3. Okay, so let's look at the investigation on the next page. It says, complete the chart, write the slopes in simplest form, and then answer the question of how the slopes are related. So I want you to calculate or to determine the rise over run of line segment A to B, A to C, A to D, and B to C, and calculate the slope of those 4 line segments. So line segment AB, what's the rise?
2.
What's the run?
3.
So the slope? 2 over 3. What is the rise for line segment AC? 8. And what's the run?
2.
So then the slope becomes 8 over 12, which when I divide top and bottom by 4, I get
2 over
3. Okay? Line segment AD, what's the rise? 10. What's the run? And the slope of 10/15 reduces down to? And then line segment BC, what's the rise from BC?
6.
And the run?
9.
And again, that reduces down to 2/3. So how are the slopes of these line segments related?
They're the same.
They're all the same. Which can lead us to draw the conclusion that the slopes of all line segments on a single line are equal to each other. And we can find that by calculating rise over run between any 2 points on that line segment. Okay, so let's look at the horizontal and the vertical lines. If I do rise over run for line segment AB, what is the rise? It's 0. What's the run? What's the run for AB? That's horizontal. 2, 4, 6, 8. So what's 0 over 8? Say it loud. louder.
0.
0. Okay, look at line segment CD. What's the rise of line segment CD? 0. What's the run?
11.
So what's the slope? 0. What's the slope for line segment EF? Why?
There's no rise.
There's no rise. So if there's no rise, the slope is going to be equal to 0. If I look at line segment GH, what's the rise? What's the run? And what is 10 divided by 0? Is it?
0.
means 10.
Check it. Can't divide by 0.
Can't get 0 out of something.
Right, I can't divide something into nothing. Or I can't divide something by nothing. So what we write is we say that it is undefined. So dividing by 0 means that it is undefined.
So busy in this country.
So if I don't have a run, my slopes are undefined because I cannot divide by 0. So horizontal line segments have what kind of a slope? 0. And vertical line segments have undefined slope. Okay. So investigation number 3 is the next thing that you guys will work on. Each of the slopes on the grid passes through at least 2 points with integer coordinates, which means this point right here I can take as being at 0 and positive 2. Okay, it's not at 2.1 or 2.02 or something like that. It's 0 and 2. This would be another one with integer coordinates. So what you are asked to do is to calculate the slope for all 6 lines, please. Okay, so in the space provided, calculate all of the slopes. Okay, what is the slope for line segment number 1? What was the slope here? Say it louder. 2 over 3. Okay, what was the slope for line segment number 2?
5 over 2.
5 over 2. And the slope for line segment number 3?
1 over 3.
1 over 3. Okay? So now if I look on the next chart, if I look at the line segment 4, what would be the slope for line segment number 4?
2 over 3.
Okay, but I have to go down. So how do I show down? Would be a negative. So negative 2 over 3. That's how I showed going down. Okay, if I look at line segment number 5, let's see, this is a point and this is a point. So what would be the slope of that one? Negative 5 over 2, because I'd have to either go 5 down and 2 to the right, or 2 to the left and 5 up. So I'd still get that negative. And then line segment number 6, what's the slope of that one? Negative 1 over 3. So what do you notice about the line segments of these slopes? What's the same and what's different? The value is the same, or like the 2/3 is the same, but one's a positive and one's a negative. So compare the slopes, they have opposite signs. If a line rises from left to right, so from left to right, if it's going up, what kind of a slope does it have? Positive slope. from left to right, it will have a negative slope. Okay? Work on questions 1 and 2, please. Okay, a grid has been superimposed on this sketch. Estimate the pitch of the roof to the right of the worker's head. So this roof right here, the pitch. So I want to determine what the slope of this line is. So how could I do that? What I want is I want to find 2 points on the line. This line here is going to be the same as this line, so I might find it easier to use this because it's not obscured with the trees. So I find 2 points. I have a point right here and a point right there. So what's the rise between those 2 points? 2. What's the run? 6? What did they have 7? Oh, maybe because I'm not on the left side. That was right on the line. Oh, maybe that's why. Oh, because this is not exactly on the line. It's this point right here. There we go. So what's the run now? 7. Could I use this grid to find the pitch of the roof that he's standing on? The answer is no. Because it's not in the same plane as the grid. This is, I need to be facing it. I'm not facing this line, so I would need to actually be in front of the roof on this side and be facing it. So no, and I can say the roof is not in the same plane. As the grid. Okay. The next question looks at, if you're given the slope and a point, can you draw the line? So if you have a slope of -2/3 and a point of -4 and 2, draw a line that meets those requirements. So the first thing I would do would be plot the point, -4 and 2. So -4 and 2 would be right here. What does a slope of -2/3 mean?
That the left goes.
Okay, so it goes like
It
that.
falls
How?
from left to right.
Falls from left to right, and how does it fall? How many down, how many right?
2 down.
2 down and 3 to the right. So 2 down and 3 to the right, there would be another point. 2 down and 3 to the right. 2 down, 3 to the right. 2 down, 3 to the right. What if I wanted to go the other way? How would I go the other way? Instead of going 2 down and 3 to the right,
2 up and 3 to the left.
yeah, 2 up and 3 to the left. So 2 up and 3 to the left. 2 up and 3 to the left. So all of these points are going to be on that line. And all I need to do is pick 3 of them to write their coordinates. Any 3. So I could pick this one over here, which is going to be at -10 and 6. Or I could pick this point right here, which is at -1 and 0. Or I could pick this point down here, which is at 8 and -6. So all of those would be on the same line. Okay. And class example number 4 gives you the slope and gives you the rise and asks you to calculate the run. So we need to remember that slope equals rise over run. So if the slope equals -5 over 7 and the rise equals 12, so slope equals rise over run. My slope is -5/7. My run is, my rise is 12 over x for my run. So how would I solve this equation? Cross multiply, -5 times x is 7 times 12. Nope. 84. It would be 14 plus 70. Okay. To get x by itself, divide both sides by -5, and what would x equal? 16.8? -16.8. Okay. I can leave it as a fraction, or I can write it as a decimal because the decimal terminates. That's how I would get it as an exact value. If this was some sort of a repeating decimal, then I would just leave it in its fraction form. Okay? So now I'm going to give you questions 4A and C, 6A and C,